Hi guys, so this is going to be a quick guide on how to make a contact sheet using Lightroom and Photoshop. A good way of doing this in Lightroom would be to have all of the images you want to add to your contact sheet within a collection. So if you don't have them in a collection already, over on the left hand bar over here, add a collection by clicking the little plus, create collection. Give your collection a name. It could just be called contact sheet, or you could give it a more descriptive name so you know what it is. Now you don't have to have collection set ticked, but make sure target collection is ticked. I'm going to call this contact sheet 1. Create. Then we can see contact sheet 1 has come up on the left hand side over here with a little plus next to it. That plus means that it's our target collection. What I can then do is I can individually select the images that I want to have in the collection. So you can either Control or Command A on the keyboard to select everything, or you can Control click each individual image you would like to add. So what I'm going to do just for demonstration purposes is I'm going to add 3 or 4 along here, like that. What I can then do is right click and click Add to Target Collection. And you can do that with as many as you want. But if I go over here now back to the contact sheet 1 that I created, I now have just those 4 in the target collection. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to where I was. I'm going to press Control A, right click, Add to Target Collection. And now I have all of those images in that same folder. Next, what we want to do is have our contact sheet 1 folder selected and go over to print on the top right hand side of the screen. Now you can see only 1 image has come up so far. So what we want to do over on layout style is select single image / contact sheet. And it's given us a default grid pattern of images. You can choose a different grid size if you wish. You can click and drag on the actual boxes and drag them if you want them slightly different shape. Or over on the right hand side rather, you can change the grid size and the cell spacing over here. Alternatively, on the left hand side, you can choose different presets. So if you only had a few images and you want them slightly bigger, you could choose something like this, for example. But for a proper contact sheet, it's good to select 4x5 contact sheet or 5x8, depending on how many images you have. Now, at the moment, you can see that only 1 has been selected. So again, I'm going to press Control A on the keyboard, and that automatically places everything within that collection onto the sheet. Now, important to note over here, where it says paper A4. Make sure that's the correct paper type that you need. If you need to change that, you want to click Page Setup down here, and then just change that to whatever you want it to be. So A4, OK. Now, if that is how you want it to be, and that is a perfectly adequate contact sheet, over on the right hand side, we want to scroll all the way to the bottom and look where it says Print Job. Now I've already done this, so mine already says JPEG file, but yours very well may say printer, because this is set up to go straight to a printer. We want to change that to JPEG file, and make sure your JPEG quality is up to 100%. So then what we want to do is click Print File. Select a location you would like it to save in. So I'm just going to click Desktop, New Folder, and then call it Contact Sheets. Select that folder, and then up in the left hand side on the top it will say Preparing Print Job, and there we go, it's finished. I now have a folder that says Contact Sheets, and I have 2 JPEG images like that. Now to do the same thing in Photoshop, we want to go to File, Automate, Contact Sheet 2. It will then bring us up a dialog box in which we can then click Choose. So I'm going to just choose a folder of recent images that I've done. What we can then do is choose the layout of our page. So where it says Document, it's going to give us the option of changing our units depending on what you want to work in, inches, centimeters or pixels. Just at the moment, it's probably best to just leave it on the default setting. 8 by 10 is a little bit smaller than A4. So if you want it to be A4, you want to put in the values of the width and the height in either centimeters or inches that are the size of A4. It is 21 by 29.7 centimeters. You can change other things in here, so the amount of columns and rows if you'd like to change that, and you can also change the font and the font size if you wish. But at the moment I would just leave that as default, and then you want to press OK. And it will generate that automatically. Again, like Lightroom, it will have to process each individual image. So at this stage it might be good to just be patient and let Photoshop do its work. And there we go, that's all done. So all we need to do now is go to File, Save, choose a location on your computer you'd like to save it, give it a name, make sure the file save type is JPEG or PDF, probably the two most useful ones you would use, and then click Save. This method is probably the most useful if you want to have a contact sheet of images straight off of a memory card that you haven't edited yet.